What's good, y'all? It's the one and only King Cow 516 live in the mix, and this is the Swiss Flames podcast. So the Los Angeles Lakers had a game Saturday night this past weekend, and they lose to the Portland Trailblazers. Final score 105-90. Trailblazers go 5-5 on the season. Lakers go 5-5 in the seasons. Both teams are now 500. With that said, I want to break down and get into Russell Westbrook and what I'm seeing with him right now playing with the Lakers. But before we do, I just want to remind you guys, please check out our Twitter at Swiss Flames, and definitely check out the Facebook and YouTube page at Swiss Flames Podcast, and hit us up on our website www.swissflames.com. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, please comment your opinions about the video. All that helps with continuing to grow the podcast. Now with that out the way, let's get into Russell Westbrook, who ended up with 8 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds. So, not necessarily really great, especially in a game where LeBron James is hurt. Especially in this game, AD went out early. He had a stomach virus. Frank Vogel had mentioned that AD puked a whole bunch of times before the game. And so AD had a stomach virus. And so, in a game where AD doesn't play most of the game, in a game where LeBron James is not playing, the reason why the Lakers have a guy and willing to trade for a star talent like Russell Westbrook, who's making over $40 million per year, is for nights like these to be able to add enough scoring punch and to be able to affect the game enough to keep the team within the game. But this was just a thrashing, you know what I'm saying? And if you put this in perspective, you know what I'm saying, Dame Lillard, who's been struggling, we know that Dame's been struggling from the three. He's been averaging like 18 points a game. Dame Lillard, ended up dropping 25 points. And if you look at Dame Lillard, he had more points than all the Lakers starters combined, because AD left early. All the Lakers starters combined, you know what I mean? And the thing is, really, nobody else really went off on Portland. It was just a very mixed bag of support all over. Even CJ McCollum only ended up with 7. So Dame dropped a game high 25. You had Yusuf Nurkic, who had 15, Norman Powell 13, and Covington 12. So that's all their starters, right? But you know what I mean? So it wasn't even overwhelming what the Blazers did. But what happened was they just had a well-rounded attack. Dame went off for 25, but everybody else just chipped in. It was like everybody was chipping in. With the Lakers, what's interesting, if you look at it, their leading scorer was Malik Monk. You know what I mean? So when you hear that, you probably already know they probably lost that game. Nothing against Malik Monk, but he dropped 13, right? I just mean that because Malik Monk doesn't play majority of the game. Like, Malik Monk only had 22 minutes, but he had the game high for the Lakers. Not the game high, I'm sorry, team high for the Lakers with 13 points. Carmelo Anthony had a so-so game. He had 12 points in 27 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? So this was a rough night for the Lakers. And here's what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? When I see games like this is what's important. This is important for Russell Westbrook in his time with the Lakers, because what's going to end up happening is, if Russ doesn't pull it together, them Laker fans are going to turn against him. And that's going to be interesting, because we know Russ is a hometown guy, right? But when it comes to playing for the Lakers, it don't matter where you're from. It matters if you're producing on the court, and if you're producing at a high level. And so Laker fans are well aware of their team. Laker fans understand how much money is invested in Russell Westbrook. Laker fans are going to understand what their demands of Russell Westbrook is going to be, and that's going to be consistency and greatness at all times, right? That's the standard if you're a Laker. No excuses. So Lakers do have some key injuries, and so Frank Vogel is going to have some interesting things to decide. How can he get Russell Westbrook to get the team going properly in the rhythm early in the game? LeBron does this very well, and I've noticed so far when LeBron is playing and has some of the ball handling duties as well, he's able to keep Russell Westbrook in a better flow. And the reason why is because Russ doesn't have the ball in his hands as much. But games like this, when the ball is predominantly in Russ's hands and he's making the decisions on front and center, the whole world's getting to see that Russell Westbrook is not necessarily the best decision maker. He seems to have one speed. He likes to go fast. And you know what? Pushing the ball is good, but pushing the ball sometimes when you are forcing shots way too early, pushing the ball when you are heading to the rim and it's 1 against 3, 1 against 4, it's not high IQ basketball. And so Russell Westbrook has some bad habits that he was able to get away with on certain teams like the Thunder, because he was the main guy, the head honcho, right? And the expectations, let's just be real, especially after KD left, the expectations in OKC. I mean, they got Paul George, but you know what I mean? The expectations are totally different than Lakers. Lakers, every single year, is championship or bust. It's never championship or bust at OKC. At least, not. I haven't seen that culture at OKC where it's championship or bust, right? Very small market team. You know what I'm saying? For them, from a business standpoint, making the playoffs and getting that extra money from a small market team, that's going to do wonders, right? Lakers is championship or bust. They're trying to make money, but they have to win championships with that. It's part of the brand they have created. And it's also part of the expectation now, because they spoiled their fans with all this winning. It's the expectation of their fans. And so, Laker allure and the pressure of being a Laker, everything is now front and center, you know, with the media coverage, with the exposure to your game. So when you're not doing good, the whole world is going to know you're not doing good. The Lakers is the biggest brand in basketball, right? So the whole world is going to start seeing this, and what you're seeing is basically Russell Westbrook has the hustle. He has the, you know, all the goods when it comes to that. But Russ said something interesting in his post-conference interview. He said he just has to play harder. But my whole thing is Russ doesn't need to play harder. I think he's playing hard to a certain extent. He has to play smarter, right? Russ has to get his teammates involved. He has to figure out how to get them in the rhythm, because it's not a one-man show, right? You got to get your teammates involved. You got to get them in the rhythm, because once you do that, they're going to rock with you. When you're the point guard, you are the floor general of the court. You are the leader of the team. You are controlling a lot. You know what I'm saying? You, to a large degree, you even control the energy of your teammates. You know what I'm saying? And the effort level that they put in. You know what I'm saying? When they're getting in rhythm, you're getting them involved, players are going to play better on both ends of the floor, right? When you're doing a lot of things that's disrupting the rhythm, guess what? Players are going to get upset. And being upset, that's going to turn some players off. And some players are not going to play hard. When it comes to that, that's just a natural law that happens during the course of a game. And so when Russell Westbrook is running up the court ahead of all of his teammates and they're not waiting for them, and then does something like turn the ball over or take a quick shot and brick it, doesn't give a chance for the rest of the guys to come on offense. When that happening at a consistent basis, that affects the Lakers defense to a large degree. And you see that the Lakers get killed off of these quick transition buckets or off of these turnovers. They get killed. The defense doesn't get the set, and it's just a mess. The offense doesn't set properly. The defense doesn't set properly, and it's a mess. When LeBron James is in there, the defense is still bad. The Lakers have to work on defense. But at least on offense, LeBron is getting more players in a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I still feel like LeBron's chemistry with Carmelo Anthony is a lot better. You know what I'm saying? I feel like LeBron James' chemistry, and Carmelo's a new player, so you understand what I'm saying? Russ, if anything, has more experience with Melo. Excuse me. But LeBron has better chemistry with Melo. You know, even when he passes it, he's passing Carmelo the ball right in the shooting pocket that Melo likes it. And Melo's quick release gives you 3 to the dome, just like that. If you look at this situation, when LeBron's on the court, Russ plays more efficiently. It looks like it seemed like they were getting some kind of chemistry, but once again, it's because LeBron, who's a higher IQ player, is making the decisions. So the Lakers have issues because as long as LeBron is off the court, and the issues don't go away, but they have to figure out how to maximize Russell Westbrook when LeBron's not there, and how to maximize him when LeBron is there. They're going to have to figure both of those out because they're going to deal with both of those situations this season, you know, as LeBron James continues to age. Now, one of the pluses for the Lakers coming down the pike in the next few weeks is that THT, who's already got the stitches out of his hand, and Kendrick Nunn are coming back soon. And why is that important? Because right now, Rajon Rondo, you know, with LeBron now is the backup point guard, and Rajon's not really having a great season. And let's be really honest, Rajon Rondo and Russell Westbrook are not good chemistry together. You could put Rondo on the floor with LeBron, but when you put Rondo and Westbrook, it just gets clunky. The spacing is not really good, and so that's really been not so well of a thing, and Rondo has been kind of struggling this season. Rondo's a great voice in the locker room. He's a great mind for strategy right now. His play on the court right now is just not where it needs to be, what the Lakers need at the moment, right? But Kendrick Nunn, Young, Taylor Horton Tucker, Young, those guys are going to give the Lakers some energy boost, and the importance of those guys is those are also guys you can put the ball in their hand and take Russ off the ball at times, right? So these are indirect ways Frank Vogel can kind of affect the usage of Russell Westbrook without having it to be something extreme, right? You put another player in there that can handle the ball, who can create plays, and you can take Russ off the ball. You don't have a lot of players like that with LeBron out and these two other players I just mentioned out. You know what I'm saying? Because those four guys, LeBron, Kendrick Nunn, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and Russell Westbrook, with Rondo as well, those are your ball handlers, right? So the majority of ball handlers are out the game, so that's going to put a lot more pressure on Russ, and I think Russ is trying to overdo things, right? I think he's trying to do too much, and he's got to find that balance, especially with LeBron out, of how can I get my teammates involved, how can I get myself going but get my teammates involved, get them in a rhythm to make my life easy. He's going to have to get better at that. He's going to have to do better decision making, and he's got to control the tempo of the game a whole lot better, of understanding, hey, yes, sometimes I got to rush the ball ahead, and that's going to create opportunities. But hey, if there's no opportunity there, it's okay to hold back and wait for my teammates, reset this thing, and do a play. He's got to get better at that, because this whole thing of running down the court, he's beating everybody down the court of his teammates. He's got a bunch of defenders enforcing the issue. Makes no sense, all right? So we'll see what happens with the Lakers. They got to make some adjustments. You know, do you think that the Russell Westbrook situation will get better just through time and more reps? Or do you think this thing's a disaster, going bad, and the Lakers need to think about, trading Russell Westbrook? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit me up. Hit the like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate your support. It's the Swiss Fame Podcast, y'all.